Hi again, and welcome to this lesson. In this short video, we'll basically go over how to set up the plugin using the API keys that we have received from the Apple developer account. So let's dive in. So now that we have received the necessary API keys, it's now time to set up the plugin. So first of all, you will need to purchase and install the Sign In with Apple plugin. And here we are given more information about the plugin. And we're also given additional links that we can use. For example, we are given the demo and documentation link. And we'll actually go over the documentation in an upcoming lesson. Next, we're also given the plugin forum thread. So if you have any questions or you need some help with regards to this plugin, you may want to visit the plugin forum thread. Next, we're also given this drop-down that allows us to select a certain version of the plugin. So here we can see that we're currently on the latest version. So it's recommended to always be on the latest version in order to get the recent updates. But before we now set up the plugin IDs, I'd like to go over the plugin content box. So in this box, we are basically given the list of elements and actions that come along with this plugin. With regards to elements, we can see that we have the Sign In with Apple element, and we're also given the auto remove URL params. And just to explain these two elements further, the Sign In with Apple element is the actual button that you can place on your page which users can click on in order to sign in with Apple. And the auto remove URL params element is an element which you can place on a page to automatically remove URL params, and it can be used as an alternative to the remove URL param action. And with regards to actions, we have the action to remove URL parameters as well as the action to authorize the user using Apple Sign In. And to explain these two actions further, the remove URL params action is another way of removing URL params but as a workflow action. And the Apple Sign In authorize user is an action used in the backend workflows to authorize a user. But the documentation page contains more information about these actions and elements. So now it's time to insert the API keys for this plugin. So let's first start with the key ID. So to find your key ID in your Apple developer account, we need to go to the identifiers, which we can go to by either clicking on this box here or clicking on this tab on the left-hand side. And then here you can click on keys. And then you can click on the created key for your app. In my case, it's this one right here. And then on this page, you can copy your key ID, which we are given here. And then we want to paste it within this field. And we also want to paste it within this key ID field, which is for the development mode. And then to find your team ID, we can go back to the identifiers. And then we can click on identifiers. And then once we're here, we need to click on the identifier for our app. So in my case, it's this one right here. And then you can copy your team ID, which we are given here. So now we can paste it in the plugin settings. And then finally, to find your service ID, we can go back to the identifiers. And then on this dropdown, we can click on service IDs. And then we need to find the service ID for our app. In my case, it's this one right here. And the service ID will be shown here, which you can copy and paste within your plugin settings. So we have now successfully set up our plugin using the keys that we got from the Apple developer account.